Hey everyone, this is Andrew Pace coming at you with a little bit of a different video than what I normally do. Normally you'll see the recap videos of my Birds on the Bat 162 game franchise here on the channel, but this time we're going to take a deep dive into the community creative players that are also a part of this franchise. Now for those of you that don't know, over at twitch.tv/AndrewPace, I have a system set in place called my point system, which are given to people who subscribe to the channel, follow the channel, host the channel, watch the channel, that if they can redeem a certain number of pairs, which are my points, they can create a player at whatever position, whatever team they want. I will add them to my franchise and have them be able to watch their player, try to make it to the major leagues, and then also make an impact for the team that they choose. Not only can they create these players, but they can also spend those same pairs to be able to boost the attributes of their player as well as the potential of their player, so they can take their player from a minor league level player all the way up to major leaguer, all-star, potential Hall of Famer. So what we're going to do on this video today is we're going to look at the top 10 players that are currently in the community player system. Some people have put boosts on their players. Some players are actually good, a little bit good off the start. So let's dive into the top 10 players. And if you want to see your player up in the top 10, make sure you follow me over at twitch.tv/AndrewPace. Rack up those pairs, create your player, rack up those boosts, and try to get your player to climb the ladder. Maybe you'll see your player in one of these next top 10 videos. Without further ado, here we go with number 10. All right, so at number 10, we have Akihiko Yabe, a center fielder in the Cincinnati Reds farm system created by M.Frisk. And at first glance, you may be wondering why a player that is a 64 overall is on my top 10 list. And the answer is simple. Look at his potential. He's got an A-rated potential already, and that means that he's going to develop his attributes in-game faster than most of the other community creative players because everyone starts off at a C potential at the baseline. He's already improved his potential so that his attributes can progress naturally without even the need of him putting in any boost. So he can add boost on top of his natural player progression, and he's going to climb the ladder pretty darn quickly. He's sliding in at number 10 because of the fact that his overall is still a little bit on the low side, but that A potential rating gives him a lot of room to grow and keep climbing that top 10. If he doesn't develop out past the 64, you may see him drop off the top 10 if other players can put in boost before him. But right now, Akihiko Yabe, here we go at number 10. Also, just want to point out that this guy is modeled after a character from Power Pros Baseball. It brings back a lot of memories. He's designed after Marvin from the Power Pros English version Power Pros. We all know, for those of you that follow M.Frisk, you guys know that he is a huge fan of the Power Pros series. I've been loving his videos on the Power Pros series, so definitely give him a shout out, a subscription to his Power Pros channel if you want some different baseball content than just MLB The Show. All right, at number 9, we've got Bobbin Dugnut. Fantastic name, gotta love it. Created by Django's Gotta Mango, a catcher in the Milwaukee Brewers system. And if you want the full story behind the Bobbin Dugnut name, it's actually got the voice lines in here in MLB The Show. He was actually a player that was in one of the English version of a Japanese baseball game that was ported over into English, into America. And one of the names on there was Bobbin Dugnut. That version was known for a lot of crazy English translations of Japanese names, and this was one of them. But Bobbin Dugnut, catcher in the Milwaukee Brewers system, had already up to a 69 overall. Hasn't really improved his potential at all, but he is a power hitting, high arm strength catcher that is looking to throw a lot of base runners out and also hit a lot of home runs. Maybe not for a lot of average, but he's also he's competing with a lot of decent catchers in the Milwaukee Brewers system, so it might take a little bit for him to actually break the roster in Milwaukee. But he's got some good power potential. He's got that strong arm behind the plate to throw base runners out. So don't be surprised if you see him up in the major league sometime soon. At number 8, we have left fielder Josh Twyman in the St. Louis Cardinals system, which means that this is a player that I'm actually going to have control over as the GM of the Cardinals, or I'm actually running the Cardinals organization here in this franchise. So I'm going to decide whether or not he makes the majors, how he's going to be used and stuff like that. It's not going to be up to the CPU. So could have some pros, could have some cons with that taking place. Who knows? But Josh Twyman, I would describe him as an average, one of those jack of all trades, master of none kind of things. He's got decent hitting stats, maybe a little bit above average fielding stats, but he's going to have to crank those up if he's going to crack the starting lineup for the Cardinals, because they already have fantastic defense in the outfield with Harrison Bader and Tyler O'Neill. They also have the rookie sensation Dylan Carlson in right field. So it's going to take a little bit for him to crack the starting lineup there in St. Louis. So he's going to have to either crank up the offense to potentially put him in a spot to maybe be the designated hitter for the Cardinals, or crank up that defense if he wants to overtake Bader or O'Neill. Because if he cranks up that defense and he has better hitting stats than Bader, you might see him in center. You might see him in left, even though Tyler O'Neill has got a lot of power already in his swing, as well as the fantastic defense, being a Gold Glover last year. So we'll see where Josh Twyman ends up. We'll see if he cracks the Major League roster anytime soon. But he's here at number 8. Number 7 is probably what I would call one of the more intriguing prospects in the community creative player system, and that is John Krok Jr., created by Denbrew. Denbrew decided to make a center fielder that was the pure power archetype, which means this player started at about maybe like a 60 or a 61. But Denver's put a lot of boosts into their player. A potential already boosts a lot of stats. Look, that fielding is already really far up there in terms of a center fielder. The only downside of the center fielder is the fact that the speed's only at a 30. So I feel like in order to crank up the overall, speed's going to have to be a focus for the boost from now on. And we'll see what that A potential does to increasing all of the other attributes. And also, this player is a member of the Philadelphia Phillies system, which is not very deep at center field. So this player could pretty soon be able to crack not only the roster, but the starting lineup for the Philadelphia Phillies. Already at 66 overall. I'd say maybe if they hit 73 or more, they could have a chance to get some playing time in center field for the Phillies as soon as they get that overall. Number 6, we have James LeBlanc, the creative player of Commish LB, who, by the way, big shout out to Commish LB. He is the inspiration behind the community creative players. If you want some more content that has to do with community creative players, make sure to give him a follow over at twitch.tv/FKN FKN stands for the Fluffy Kitty Ninjas, which is what his daughter came up with to name the channel. I think it's amazing. He does amazing out-of-the-park baseball content, as well as some MLB The Show content mixed in, where he is all focused around community creative players and also actual humans being GMs of his out-of-the-park universe. I'm actually the GM of the Cardinals in his universe. Fantastic guy, fantastic stream, fantastic storyteller. So definitely give his channel a follow. Big shout out to him for being the inspiration for me to put community creative players into my franchise. But he's got a player in this system. It's a second baseman in the Red Sox organization, secondary positioner, right field. This guy is a speed demon. You can see the high contact rating, a high speed rating, also above average fielding. This is a prototypical, this is what I would want in a second baseman, a guy who can hit for contact, guy who has speed, a guy who has good defense. There's other people that would want like a power hitter at second base. I like a little bit more contact and speed with my second baseman, and that's what James LeBlanc is. The only issue that he may have is he's got to overtake 7 other second basemen that are above him in the depth chart currently in the Red Sox organization. He's at a 68 overall, but there are 4 players above him who are at least a 70 or more overall rating, so he's going to have to put in the boost to overtake those guys. But if he consistently puts in those boosts, maybe up the power a little bit, maybe up the steal rating or the aggression rating on the base pads, he could be a get on base and steal a couple of bases kind of guy for the Red Sox. So James LeBlanc in at number 6. All right, we're down to the top 5, and that is going to be the first player that reached the major leagues when we did the first round of my franchise, and that would be Sam Dawson, second baseman in the Miami Marlins system. He probably lucked out with a team that didn't have a lot of depth around the board, so that's why his player is already up at the major league level. Also, he picked an archetype that worked well with second base, as he's already at a 70 overall with minimal attribute boosting. And can also play all around the infield at first, third, and second, shortstop. Not second. He is a second baseman. But he chose the anomaly archetype, which puts a lot of emphasis into speed and power. He's got average defensive across the board, a little bit less than the player we just looked at, James LeBlanc, but he's got about the same amount of speed and more pop to his bat. Now, if he can bring up that contact rating and maybe a little bit of plate discipline and plate vision, this guy is going to be a force to be reckoned with. Now, he does have to compete with Jazz Chisholm for starts at second base. He's currently a bench player on the Marlins, but he is definitely already a player primed to be successful. And so he's also a switch hitter. That also gives him a little bit of a boost. So Sam Dawson, created by Sam D712, is number 5 on the top 10 list. Number 4 on the list, we've got Jordan Cash, created by Shadows. He is a first baseman in the Baltimore Orioles system, currently on the AAA ball club Norfolk Tides, which is my hometown baseball team growing up in the Virginia Beach, Norfolk area. I went to a lot of Norfolk Tides games growing up, so that team holds a special place in my heart. But here we go. Jordan Cash, first baseman, already at beat potential. Power hitting first baseman with that over 75 power from both sides, over 46 from both sides of the plate contact-wise. Also, a little bit above average fielding stats. The only weakness of his is speed, which is not really something you need as a first baseman, who also has the secondary position of catcher. So that can open up some opportunities for him to crack the Major League roster here. Don't be surprised if Jordan Cash breaks the starting roster for the Orioles here soon. I don't know if it's going to be at first base, catcher, or designated hitter, but he's got the chance to get there pretty darn quickly. He actually had a chance to make the starting roster, but the CPU decided to start him in AAA, so we'll see how fast he gets to the major leagues. But Jordan Cash here at number 4. All right, we're down to the top 3, and it is Corbin Co, the first baseman on the Royals. I'm not saying in the Royal system. He is already in the major leagues, created by Crazy Coach. He is already a huge power threat at the plate, a little bit high on the defensive side. Again, on the slow side, but that doesn't really matter if you are a first baseman. However, he does have, interestingly enough, the ability to play all of the infield spots, including shortstop and second, which his fielding range might come into question if he's played there, because there are a few first basemen that are on the Royals roster. You've got Carlos Santana, you've got Corbin here, and then you've also got Ryan McBroom, all on the Royals roster. Right now, Corbin Co is not in a starting lineup. They have McBroom at designated hitter. McBroom at designated hitter and Carlos Santana at first. So Corbin's going to need to get a little bit more boosting if he's going to crack the starting lineup. But he's already got beat potential as well and is going to be improving that as we go. He's already put a lot of boost into his player, which is why he's already at a 70 overall. So look out for him to make an impact for the Royals this season, as he's already on the Major League club. No need to worry about climbing to the Major League roster. But Corbin Co here coming in at number 3. Number 2, the player that's going to have me making a lot of tough decisions coming up here. That's Kenny Lindbergh, the center fielder in the St. Louis Cardinals system. So I'm going to be deciding what to do with this player. This guy can be described as defensive first, but still with pretty decent hitting stats, average speed. But you can see in the green area, all of the fielding stats are really good for a center fielder. He's also got secondary positions of the rest of the outfield and first base. He's a switch hitter, decent speed, pretty good contact, a little bit less power than contact, but that's going to keep going up. He's one of those all-around players with a fielding first mentality. If he's going to overtake Bader, it's going to be with the bat, because Bader has elite speed and elite defense, where I would say Kenny Lindbergh has really good defense with average speed. So the place that Kenny's going to overtake Bader at the Cardinals level is with the bat. He's going to have to improve the batting skills, because Bader, that's Bader's weak spot, is his bat. But he's already also boosted his potential up to A, so he's going to naturally progress, as well as adding his attribute boost on top of that. 77 overall already. He is primed to make the major leagues. He is ready. I'm just waiting for the right opportunity as the manager of the Cardinals to make the decision to call him up to the majors. I don't want to call him up just because his overall is good. I want to, like, hey, this guy's killing it in the minor leagues, or we have an injury at the major league level. Let's bring Kenny up and see what he can do. I'm not going to make artificial moves just because the overall is high. I want to make it realistic across the franchise, but he's definitely going to be at the major leagues at some point this season, already at a 77 overall, only going to get better from there. He's going, like I said, he's going to make lineup decisions for me really tough between him and Bader, O'Neill, and Carlson in the outfield, as well as Josh Twyman, who we highlighted at number 8, also going to be in the mix. So there's going to be a lot of outfield shuffling for the Cardinals this season. They're going to make this difficult for me. But number 2, Kenny Lindbergh. And the number 1 player in the community creative player system as of right now, which it's going to be hard to overtake him, Cody Koshen, the catcher on the Pittsburgh Pirates. At 85 overall, he is already the best, well, the highest overall rated player on the Pirates roster, beating out Jacob Stallings, who is also an 80. No, he's at 84. Jacob Stallings at 84. So, and also in the franchise, Stallings just went down with an injury, so it looks like Koshen's going to take over the starting spot anyway. But this guy can be described in one word: power. His power rating over 86 against lefties, 88 against righties. His arm strength is a 95. This dude is just emanates power. He's 6'4", 265. The dude is a beast. Like I said, already at 85 overall. He's got A potential, so those stats are just going to keep going up higher. But this guy is the best player on the Pirates roster. He's going to cause me troubles this season because I have yet to play the Pirates, and I'm going to have to play a lot of him. So hopefully I can contain this guy because he's going to be a nightmare to pitch against. But number 1 in the community created player list is Cody Koshen. So that's going to do it here for the first top 10 community created player video. I'm planning on doing these videos every in-game month. So whenever I finish all of the games in the month of May, I will do an update. Who will crack the top 10 after that? Maybe someone will fall out of the top 10. Some unknown players are going to join into the top 10. Who knows? If you want to see all the potential players that are on this list, make sure you check out the Google Sheets forms that I've linked in the description below, so you can see all of the players across all of the systems. We've got hitters, pitchers. We've got, like I said, we've got over 30 players in there so far. If you want to be a part of the community created players and you haven't created a player yet, be sure to follow me over at twitch.tv/AndrewPays. Come hang out in the stream. You earn pairs by watching, following, subscribing if you wish. And then we can get you a player in here as well once you earn enough pairs to redeem. And we'll add you to the list as well. Maybe you can get a player that'll crack the top 10 before the end of the season. Who knows? But until next time, guys, stay blessed and take care.